Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nzali Bangisi from the Sports Science Institute of South Africa in Cape Town, Newlands. And I would like to welcome you to our first session of the Women's Health Edition with Totalsports. I hope you guys are excited as I am, because today we'll be covering a very special topic amongst women that maybe is not spoken about enough and also not incorporated enough in our general exercise routine. That topic is pelvic floor and core control. Right, so let's start off with what is pelvic floor. What is your pelvic floor? So your pelvic floor is basically a group of muscles that is at the baseline of your pelvis. So if you think of your pelvis as a home to the organs of your bladder, your uterus, your rectum, the pelvic floor muscles form the baseline or the foundation of that little home. Also, the pelvic floor muscles are one of the group of muscles that form part of your entire core, which is very important. So you can imagine how important our pelvic floor muscles are as females specifically in the reproductive system that we are involved in. Okay, so why should we train our pelvic floor? So training your pelvic floor, this topic usually pops up a lot when we speak about pre and postnatal moms, or sometimes in the general population when we see people losing bile or bladder function. So with bile or bladder dysfunction, this topic usually comes up, and it becomes increasingly more important to strengthen or exercise your pelvic floor. Otherwise, sometimes if you do have low back pain, if you suffer from low back pain generally, or if you do have a weak core, this pelvic floor function and exercise is very good for those things. Okay, so today I will be introducing you to a series of exercises and movements that can prevent pelvic floor dysfunction, or even if you do already have pelvic floor dysfunction, building up that strength to try and strengthen and stimulate those deep stabilizing muscles that we tend to forget in our exercise routines. So you also notice that today that these exercises we're going to be doing today are very slow, low impact exercises that require very slow controlled movements, just so that we can maximize the effectiveness of these exercises. So if you don't feel like you're not working hard, don't be discouraged, because that's not the aim of what we're trying to do today. What we're really trying to do is try to get that mind to body connection and make sure that we activate those muscles that we need for our everyday lives and for our everyday movements, even in our everyday exercises that we do all the time. Also, if you're familiar with Pilates as a routine or Pilates as a class, then you will see some of these exercises are familiar to you, and you'll be familiar with some of the movements. So that's kudos to you. All right, so today all we're going to need literally is your mat or something that you can lay on the floor, and you're going to need a little cushion. So I've got my little cushion here. So it's a very small little cushion, but I can squeeze it nicely, and we're going to use this a little bit later in our session. So if you can get your cushion now, then we can start our pelvic floor and core activating strengthening session. Right, so we're going to start off just with mobility, so to loosen up our joints so we can get our bodies a little bit into a little bit of an equilibrium before we start activation. So we're going to start in child's pose. You want your big toes together, and I want you to separate your knees, and you're going to bring your bum over to your heel. So here we're stretching out our back and try get that curve. So try pulling your tailbone in underneath you, tuck it in and reach over, and you just relax here in this motion. So now I'm opening up my back, I'm really hollowing out my stomach so that I can feel my back opening up, and just relax. Deep breaths in your nose, out your mouth. Right, so now we just want to open up the hips as well a little bit. I'm just going to turn to the side. So from your child's pose position, you can come up and extend one leg out to the side, your toes facing forward, and I'm still down in this motion. I'm opening up my groin or my adductors, and I'm just going to sit in that motion. If you feel like you can go lower, that's perfectly fine, and just sit there in this motion as you open up your adductors. Okay, and then we're going to move on to the other side. So bring the other knee in and extend the other leg out to the side. And really sit into it. If you can't go onto your forearms, that's perfectly fine. You can just keep your back upright as far as you can go. Remember, please don't push these movements to pain. If you have any injuries, just make sure that you do have the go-ahead from your doctor, your physiotherapist, your gynae, anything like that. If you're joining us in your postnatal, please do make sure that you have the go-ahead from your doctors before doing these movements. Right, so now we're going to move on. I'm going to take the same leg that I had extended out, and I'm going to bring it out in front of me. I'm going to go into that piriformis stretch. So basically, I'm just bringing this leg out in front, and I'm extending the other leg onto the ground. And I'm just going to sit into that hip. Make sure that you're not rolling in the hip. Just keep your hip nice and stable, and really just sit there and feel your glutes opening up as well. And let's move on to the other side. So you can bring your other leg in and extend that leg out. Come all the way down if you can, otherwise you can just stay up there. Remember, do not roll into that hip. Keep your hip up nice and square. Your knee is pointing forward, and just sit and feel that stretch in your glutes. Right, then we're going to go onto our backs. So you're going to lie on your back. Right, now you're going to bring one ankle up to your opposite knee, and that's your figure 4 position, right? Now you're going to bring your leg up so that you can see my leg in front of the ankle is at a 90 degree, and my other leg is also pointing up. So what I want to do is place my hands in between, and I really want to just pull into that motion. And I can feel a nice deep stretch as well in the glutes there. And you're just going to hold that for a moment. And then we can release that side, and we're going to move on to the other side. Opposite ankle to knee. Open up that knee as much as possible. Try not to be lazy in that knee. Open it up. And then lift your foot off the ground. Hands in between the middle of the straight leg. And you pull gently. And feel a nice stretch going down the other glute. Right, and we can release. So you're going to stay on the floor here for this one, and you're going to be nice and flat on the ground. So I'm going to teach you a very exclusive trick on how to switch on and perfect your Kegel exercises. So ladies, we know that Kegels are very good for us, especially in our sexual reproduction. And so what you want to do is take 2 fingers and put it in between your hips. So you can feel my hip bone there. And just in between where it dips, where I feel like a soft area in between my hips, I'm going to place 2 fingers gently in between there. Right, so what you want to do there, where you want to feel it, you want to cough or laugh,
as I'm talking, I can actually feel it. So I'm going to cough and I can feel a small bulge going into my fingers. That is exactly where you want to be when you're holding with your 2 fingers. So you want to hold there. And now we're going to start off with easy Kegels. And this is also activating our transversus abdominis, which is a very deep core muscle. So we want to just really, when you're doing Kegels, what you want to imagine doing is just stopping the flow of urine. So that's what you want to imagine, stopping the flow of urine, and gently stopping either the passing of air from the rectus area. So I just want to squeeze gently, and I can feel a small bulge into my fingers. Don't make sure that you're not squeezing your abdominals. So that's not what you're trying to do. Your abdominals should be nice and rested. Your bum should be nice and rested too. So these Kegel exercises basically just close your eyes and imagine just not passing or stopping the urine from passing and stopping the air from going through. And just gently relax. So you're going to hold that for 3 seconds and you're going to do 8 Kegels. Right, so you shouldn't see any movement from my abdominals. You shouldn't see any movement from my glutes. It's literally just a soft squeeze and hold it as 3 seconds as hard as you can and release. And let's go 7 and release. You should feel a very small bulge into the fingers that you have there in your hips. And squeeze 1, 2, 3, release. Good. So now you're switching on that brain to muscle function. Really, really concentrate here. And switch on, squeeze 1, 2, 3, release. Good. It is hard and it does get harder and harder each time to try and concentrate on that muscle. But really just remember you're trying to stop urine from passing. And squeeze 3, release. Let's go 5 more. 1, 2, 3, release. 1, 2, 3, release. Good. Last 3. 1, 2, 3, release. And to your last one. Squeeze 1, 2, 3, and release. Well done. So now that is a soft activation, and I want you to try and keep that activation very gently, though, not as hard as you did in our Kegels, but very gently keep that activation. Now you're going to drop your belly button down to your spine, so gently flatten that space between your lower back and the mat. And now we're going to add movement. So you really want to now really get that core control. So we're going to add movement to that activation. So I'm going to squeeze very gently, and I'm going to now release one leg out and bring it all the way back in. So what I want to see here is that my hip, as I release, my hip doesn't drop or doesn't hike, so it doesn't twist over. So let's go into that extension, and we're going to swap sides, okay? So squeeze gently, drop your belly button down, and release. 1, good. Other side. 2. Focus on this activation, and as I said, remember, you shouldn't expect to feel like you're working really hard or like this is a hard workout. This is really just trying to get your brain function to that pelvic area and really gently control that movement. I'm really gently pulling into that uterus, and I'm trying to make urine not pass very gently. And let's do 2 more on each side. Good. Right, now I'm going to lift this other leg off the ground, straighten the one leg, and I'm going to go over to the side. I'm still gently activating here, so belly button down to spine, really squeezing into my Kegel, and I'm going to abduct the leg, so leg out to the side and back in. Notice how my leg is off the ground, and I really want to control that movement. And I can start feeling my abdominals activating really nicely here. Make sure that your ribs are also not flaring, so you really want to connect your top ribs down to your bottom ribs, and as I'm gently releasing that leg out and back in. So the point here is to make sure that your hips are really not moving too much here, and just that limb that you're making move is going to the side. And we're going to do 2 more here. Good, just stay with me. Keep that connection. If you need to, close your eyes. And relax. Let's do the other side. Okay, so now let's relax our body completely. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Drop that belly button down to spine, gently flatten your back, and gently pull in to your Kegel. Lift that leg off, and let's abduct. You really want to control here. Switch on that activation. You need to feel that movement. Control. 4, 5, good. 6, 7, slow and controlled. 8, 9, keep that back flat, and 10. Well done. Good. So now we're going to lift our legs up to tabletop position. So start with the first one. Get your back in a comfortable position, and let's go to the other side. Now we're going to go into our toe tap. So when you're in this position, please do make sure that your back is in a comfortable position. I can already feel my abdominals and my core really working hard, which is good. So I'm already activated there. So when I'm in this position, I can already feel my core stabilizing me very nicely. So we're going to go into toe tap. So as you go down, gently tap the one toe down and other side down. So you really want to keep this controlled as well. You'll feel a nice pressure or isolation in the lower abdominals now this time, but you still want to keep that back nice and activated. Belly button down and Kegel gently. So we're going to go 10 taps, 5 each side. As you go slowly down, tap, keep that knee bent in that bent position as you're tapping down. Tap and lift. 2, 3, good. 4. If you need to reset, just take a deep breath in, exhale, reset, and keep going. 5, 6, really hold it. 7, this should feel a little bit harder than the first 3 exercises. 8, 9, and 10. Well done, good. So if you feel like that was a little bit too hard for you or too harsh on your lower back, you could have just kept one leg down and just tapped on the one side, and then we're going to do the other side. But on that second set, we'll do that on the second set if you need to. Right, so you're going to get your legs back up to tabletop position for the last one, and you're going to open up your legs to the side. So dropping out your legs to the side, and you just want to imagine squeezing your adductors together, but not bringing them all the way together. So as you bring your legs up together, imagine that you're trying to pull these adductors way together. Right, so you literally keep your knees bent in that position. You're going to drop out and squeeze. Same control over here. Back is nice and flat, and let's go 10. Really squeeze your adductors as you come together. 3. Control that movement, guys. 4. 5. Switch on those abdominals. 6. Remember, control going down and up, okay? 7. You don't just want to drop your legs out, you want to drop with control. Feel the movement. 8. 2 more. 9 to your last one. And 10. Well done. You can bring your knees into your chest and just hug them in for a moment. We're going to go back onto our leg extensions to start with, and we're going to go to our second set. Right, so feet on the ground, nice and flat, and we're starting off with the leg extension out and back in. Remember, you don't want to see your hips dipping here. You really want to keep them nice and strong. So fingers in between your hips, really squeeze, stop the urine from passing, and I can feel a little bulge there. Drop my belly button down to spine, and let's lift up. Just extend, push your heel away from you, your heel away from you, and let's do the other side. Straighten that leg, push the heel away from you. Keep your pelvis strong. 2, 10 in total, 5 each side. 3, 2, Good. Stay with me. Remember, slow and controlled is the key here. Last 3. What happened to my activation? Keep it active. And that was 10. Well done. Right, so now we're going to go into our abduction. So you're staying in that position. Let's just relax our bodies now before we reactivate. Okay, take a deep breath in and exhale. As you exhale, drop that belly button down. Let's Kegel. Lift that leg up, and you're going to abduct that leg straight to the side. Straight out and in. Control. Out. You want minimal movement in your pelvic area, in your hips. 3. You're going to do 5 each side. 4. Control, please. And last one. 5. And in. Relax, and let's do the other side. Straighten out this leg. And let's go. This is very good for people who usually complain with lower back pain as well. Our pre-postnatal moms, people that suffer from bile or bladder dysfunction, incontinence, any of those things. Ladies, we know that we suffer from these things sometimes. These are topics that we don't want to talk about sometimes, but we do need to. And your last one, really control and relax. Leg back down. Well done. Right, so now we're going to bring those legs up to tabletop position, and we're going to go into toe taps. Right, so remember, back is in a very nice comfortable position, dropping your belly button down to your spine, 90-degree legs, and let's tap down. Tap and up. If this is hard for you, you can just release the other leg and just do the one side, and then you can swap over. All right. Nice and controlled. Tap and lift. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Well done. Keep your legs up at tabletop position, and you're going to go into that drop out. So knees out. Make sure you keep your knees and your ankles at the same angle, and you're going to lift. Control that movement and release. As you're lifting in, squeeze your abdominals. Imagine you want to pull those abdominals together and release. 3, 4, good. Keep it slow. 5, 5 more. 6, do not lose my activation. Where's my activation? Pull together. 7, good. 8. It becomes incredibly harder in this motion to draw that urine in or to stop the urine from flowing into our Kegel. And let's go for one more. And 10. Well done. Good. Right, ladies. So we're going to take our towels down for the second set or circuit of exercises. So if you don't have a cushion, you can just also use a towel or a soft ball if you have one. Just be creative with your apparatus. I'm going to use my little cushion here. I'm going to place it in between my knees, and I'm still on my back here. So what I want to do first is I want to just squeeze this cushion and release. So I'm going to activate my adductors here, my middle thighs here. So I'm really going to just stay in this motion without activating my core. So I'm just giving my core a little bit of a break, and I just want to squeeze the knees together as hard as I can. I'm just squeezing that cushion together and holding for 30 seconds to release. And again, so remember, just relax your abdominals. You're not activating. Everything is just relaxed, except you're just squeezing that towel or the pillow and relax. I'm going to go for 10 reps. Squeeze as hard as you can. 3-second hold and release. That's 5. 5 more. Squeeze. 1, 2, 3. Release. And squeeze. 1, 2, 3. Release. This is also very good for toning your inner thighs. Squeeze. 1, 2, 3. release. Really squeeze that cushion together. Hold 3 seconds. And one more. Right, perfect. Now we're going to go into a squeeze and a bridge. So with this one, we do want our abdominals a little bit active, but we're really using our adductors and our glutes with this one, okay? So I'm going to start by squeezing my cushion, and then I'm going to initiate that glute exercise and all the way back down. Right, so you'll notice that you might not go as far up as you would generally if you're doing a normal bridge without the cushion, and that's perfectly fine. That should happen. So basically squeeze your cushion for about 2 seconds before you start curling that pelvis in, tucking your tailbone in, lifting, peeling your body or your back off the ground, squeezing through the glutes, your heels are pushed to the ground, and you're going to peel yourself back down from the top all the way down. So now my adductors are really starting to burn, really starting to feel it, and that's really good. So we're going to go for 10 of these. Squeeze your cushion, tilt your pelvis in, peel yourself up, squeeze your glutes, and slowly down. This is also a very good core control exercise. Glutes as well, involved with our adductors. And squeeze and lift. You really want to control that movement up and down. So instead of just doing a shoulder bridge, this is a pelvic bridge as we curl ourselves up, squeeze through the glutes, and slowly down. Do not lose that squeeze in our cushion, especially when we're in that up position. And let's go, keep going. Slow and controlled, ladies. 4 more. Squeeze and lift. Notice how I curl my pelvis up before I go. And as I come down, I try and curl each vertebra on the ground as I release. Squeeze, curl, tuck in, lift from the glutes. And slowly down. Nice. Last 2. Squeeze. Lift. And slowly down. Into our last one. These adductors are really working really hard now. And release. Well done. You're going to take your cushion and come up to tabletop position for the 3rd one. Right? So you're going to keep your cushion in between your knees. So the point here is to obviously keep that cushion there. So if you're not tight enough, or if your knees are not in enough, your cushion will fall. So you want to keep your cushion there, just in a gentle squeeze position there, right? And I want you to now lift your upper back off the ground into a chest lift. Notice how my hands also elevated off the ground, and now I'm looking at the crease of my hips, right? So I'm in a nice chest lift here, gentle squeeze in my cushion, and what I'm going to do is extend my legs and bend in. Right, so you're basically just trying to gently squeeze the cushion as you're going into that leg extension, both at the same time, and release. Right, so we're going to do 10 extensions here. So lift up into your chest lift, hands off the ground, looking straight at your hips. Make sure your shoulders are off the ground, and extend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, keep it going, 8, 9, and 10. Well done. And you can relax all the way back down. Well done. Okay, so the next one, you want to be in an upright position. You can either be upright or you could be on your forearms like that. You're going to extend both legs up into a V position. So this is the easier version. So if you want to keep your hands on the ground, all you're going to do is toe tap up, toe tap down. So you're almost in like a V up position, and just bend at the knee, tap and tap. If you want to make this a little bit challenging, you can more than welcome to bring your legs up or your arms up and stay in that position to tap. Alright, so that's your harder version. So this is our last one. So we're going to do 10 taps, 5 each side. Right, so legs out. Make sure that if you feel like your back is a little bit sore, you can Just put the cushion out behind you so that you have some support, and lift your legs up and bend at the knee. Tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, really feeling that activation. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Well done. Good stuff, guys. Let's stretch for a moment before we go back to the first few exercises of our cushion, to our second set. Knees into chest, deep breaths. We really are challenging our core here. Okay, I hope you're still with me, guys. Make sure you're feeling that brain to muscle connection. Right, let's go back to our cushion. Cushion back in between my knees. And we're starting off with just normal squeezes. Right, so gently relax your body. No activation here. Really relax everything. And all you're doing is squeezing that knees in together. 3-second hold and release. 1, 2, 3, 4, squeeze as hard as you can. 5, hold 3 seconds. 6, hold 1, 2, 3, 7, good. 3 more. And we've got 1 more, squeeze, hold 3 seconds, 2, 3, and relax. Well done. Right, now we're going to go into that bridge position, right? So you're squeezing the towel and you're going up into your bridge position and all the way back down. Right, so squeeze your cushion and roll your pelvis in, tuck it in, peel yourself off, push through the heels of your feet, squeeze your glutes, and slowly come down. This is teaching you nice core control and glute strength. Squeeze, tuck it in, lift, 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 and slowly back down. Good. Squeeze, tuck it in, belly button in, out, out, and down. Remember, I said you won't go as high as you would in a normal bridge, and that's perfectly fine. Remember, you don't want to start using your back in that extension. As you're going up, it's all in the glutes. Squeeze the glutes, come slowly down. If you feel like you are going in your back, that means you're going a little bit too high, and maybe you're not using your glutes correctly here. So you really want to make sure that your hips are lifted off by the squeeze or the contraction of your glutes. Good, let's go. 4 more. Squeeze the towel or the pillow and you curl up, squeeze, and slowly down. Now remember, try and Kegel. Don't forget to try and Kegel in this motion. It does become incredibly harder when you're moving. Just try and keep that contraction each time. 2 more. Curl out, squeeze. This is a good exercise for toning the legs. And to your last one, squeeze, curl, lift, and slowly down. Well done. Got a nice burn in my adductors, my hamstrings, my glutes. It's a very good exercise there for leg toning. Right, lift your legs up to tabletop position. Keep your pillow in between your knees, and we're going to that extension, guys. So remember, you really want to drop your belly button down, lift, eyes gazing onto your hips, hands off the ground, and extend. Gently squeeze your pillow as you're extending. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, keep it up. 7, keep that shoulders off the ground. 8, 9, to your last one, and 10. Well done, good, nice. And let's go into the last one, guys, into our V-sit. You can take your pillow off, either onto your forearms. If you want to challenge, you can go all the way up with your arms and your legs in that position, and you're just tapping down, tap, down. Easy version is just on your forearms, resting easily. If you need cushioning in your back, you can go ahead and do so. Legs out, and let's tap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Well done, ladies. Let's go over into the child's pose once more. So open up the knees, big toes together, and just gently send your tailbone down away from you. Hollow out your stomach and relax. And we've done a lot of core awakening, so I'm just going to stretch out the back. So go into your quadruped position and let's do that cat-cow stretch. So make sure that your wrists are underneath your shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And as we exhale, you're going to tuck your chin into your chest, tailbone in, and curl, push through the mat. And inhale back up into a small extension. And exhale. Inhale up. And let's do one more. Exhale. And inhale to release. Well done, ladies. That was our core pelvic floor activation session. Well done, ladies. I hope you guys actually took something out of that, and you will start incorporating some of those movements in your exercise routines every day. So another thing is, ladies, if you have any other suggestions or any other burning questions or concerns that you have as women when you're exercising, please drop it down onto the comment section below so that we can look at those issues and we can maybe answer some of these questions when we're doing the exercises. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week, Wednesday, again for this Women's Health edition. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week.